hunger and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media.
What a beautiful Saturday morning. And yes, it is an amazing day. And some persons will want to say, today is the last Saturday in the month of March 2025. A beautiful day. And of course, we bid you welcome to another amazing edition of the Morning Buzz. My name is David Edwin, and I'm not alone this beautiful morning.
And you are with Adefunke Jaisimi. Good morning, Nigerians.
Interestingly, we will definitely be letting you know what we're talking about today, but we would only urge you to stay with us. And again, yes, we have to apologize for really starting a bit late, just for some technical reasons. And you know, we have to serve you better and the best way we can, and that's why we are here at this time. Today, we're looking at some interesting conversation. The Senate President did claim that the second term of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a done deal. You're seeing the crystal ball, in my opinion. That crystal ball is what we'll be talking about today. And
of course, in Edo State, Edo mob sets fire to 16 northern travelers, accusing them of being kidnappers. How do you even get to the point of killing people? 16 people, allegedly.
Quite unfortunate.
Very, very.
Quite unfortunate. But this is what we'll be looking at. And of course, we would urge you to stay with us all the way. And if you haven't, click on that subscribe button. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and in all other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. Well, you can best join us and take us anywhere with you in the world by clicking our website, www.vop.ng, for fresh and trending stories. And of course, you know, with us at Voice of the People, your voice matters. And that is why we're giving you more than a voice. And we would encourage you to call and share your thoughts and reactions with us via our WhatsApp platform, scrolling on the screen. And of course, you know the number is 0909-4473-2605. And you know, again, like I said before, with us, you have more than a voice. Well, let's let you into some of the trending conversations that did happen yesterday. And interestingly, the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has accused the President Bola Tinubu's administration of betraying workers through excessive taxation, rising tariffs, and unfulfilled agreements. Now, in a speech at the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria conference in Lagos, NLC President Joe Ajaero condemned the government's economic policies and warned workers against remaining silent amid increasing hardship. He criticized the government for neglecting its regulatory responsibilities and putting corporate interests above citizens' welfare. Well, you want to ask me if the NLC is coming at this time to make this statement, of course, telling the people not to be silent. How then should the people react afterwards?
Did you go to the comment section?
Okay, I don't want to have that
Did you go to the comment section? Because if you did, then you would know that it feels like Nigerians are not even having it with this particular NLC. It looks like it's not the NLC we used to know, even though there are always political interference, as you would say. But this time around, Nigerians are just like, no, not again. One of the guys on the comment section said, it be like say the pocket money where they give and don't finish. You need to read. And I was like, at the end of the day, he was actually speaking for Nigerians, the policies, the hardship, even though yes, you can say that the minimum wage was increased, but what can it cover? What can it do for people? But people just don't trust.
You know, one of the most interesting conversation in all of this is the fact that the dollar value as at when minimum wage was 30,000.
Why do you want to go to that dollar?
Okay.
let's just maintain that we are Nigerians living in Nigeria, spending naira. Let's just leave it that way, because if you want to look at the dollar equivalent, David, we're not going to leave the studio today.
Well, so much to serve you really this beautiful morning, and we definitely would urge you to stay with us. We'll be taking a very, very short break, and when we return, we'll be looking at what the front pages of the national dailies are saying this beautiful morning. And yes, we would not be doing that alone. We have our own analysts, and of course, they are in the studio already. You want to find out who they are? Would urge you to stay with us. In a jiffy, you will get to find out. Stay with us after this quick break. We'll be right back. I'm glad to have you back. Like I told you earlier, we'll be looking at what the front pages of the national dailies are saying this beautiful morning. And yes, to do that with us, and of course, to make sense of all of the stories we're talking about today, we have with us in the studio Mr. Peter Anosike, who is an economist and of course, Voice of the People TV's in-house political affairs analyst. And we'll also have a seasoned reporter and also VOB TV in-house political affairs analyst. Also, yes, virtually all the way from Benin City, we have with us, joining us virtually, Dr. Bright Onyovo Koko, I beg your pardon. Please correct me if I'm wrong, and I apologize for shattering your name. I mean, that's what makes us Nigerians. Anyways, he's a medical director, and of course, Bricachet Medical Resources. Gentlemen, a very, very good morning to you.
Good morning, David, and good morning, Adefunke.
Well, I can say I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it almost immediately. Well, so much to talk about in the front pages of the national dailies. We're going to start off with the Punch newspaper. Well, interestingly, all of the national dailies are carrying the president's birthday celebration. And well, when I say all, quite almost all of them. But we'll just be doing 2, 3 because of our time. We have very limited time so that we can get to the main conversation. Like I said earlier, we're starting off with the Punch newspaper, where you have a major banner headline there reads, FG orders manhunt as outrage trails 16 Edo travelers lynching. The subwriter there, Deputy Senate President Atiku NGF Okpebolo Obi demands probe. Well, this is one of our major talking points this morning, and we'll be extracting that particular situation. And yes, again, you also have Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited celebrating Mr. President on his 73rd birthday. 73, right? 73rd. Okay. Right. I wanted to be sure. All right, by the side of the nameplate, there are still some headlines there. One of that is Natasha's recall. Senator petitions IG, Kogi CP, and Kingsmen tackle INEC. Beneath that particular headlines, another one is celebs show support as Annie Macaulay returns to social media. Well, these are the headlines right there at the front page of the Saturday Punch newspaper.
All right, moving on to the Nation this beautiful Saturday morning. How Fubara ordered bombing of Rivers State Assembly by ex-head of service. Says government plotted Tinubu's downfall through pipeline bombing. Fubara ordered AE to pull down assembly to avert impeachment. Another story, Edo killings. Police arrest 14 as president orders manhunt. Opeblo visits scene, OK's probe. And we have on the page 36, EFCC declares Aisha Achimugo wanted for alleged money laundering. The top story on the cover page of the Nation this Saturday, Tinubu at 73 rededicates self to Nigeria's development. And of course, birthday wishes as expected. That's all on the cover page of the Nation newspaper.
All right, before we get to another paper, I would just like our analysts here to make sense of one or two of the stories. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Peter Anosike. Which of these headlines would you want to react to as it stands?
The jungle justice in Edo State.
Oh yes, and that's our major talking point.
What is Tinubu waiting for declaring the state of emergency in Edo?
We would get to that, Mr.
What
Peter.
is he waiting for?
We would get to that. Again, it's our major talking points. We'll be extracting it extensively as much as we can on the show. I also want to find out the fact that according to all of the newspapers, Mr. President is 73. And felicitations everywhere.
Official.
Well, that doesn't matter.
Official.
Is there any other
because
age?
we didn't see any birth certificate.
Okay, but he has said that he's 73 years old. Does
He
that
told
work?
Nigerians that he is 73 years.
All right.
Just like Obasanjo just said that he is 88.
Okay, if you insist.
All right, Mr. Daily Fanimo, I want to bring your attention to the headline in the Punch newspaper, Saturday Punch. Natasha's recall, Senator petitions IG, Kogi's Commissioner of Police, as the Kingsmen tackle INEC. What do you make? Before we came on there, you were saying something about Natasha and all of that, even though we're just joking about it. But what do you make of this particular petition by the Senate to the IG?
You see, I think I would rather advise Natasha to really go into this issue before it gets out of hand. The idea of petitioning IG, the Commissioner of Police, I have not seen any threat to life here. I've not seen any breakdown of law and order here. Essentially, whatever is going to happen to Natasha will happen to her in the floor of the Senate. And I think she should be engaging the senators now more than playing to the gallery, because eventually whatever is going to happen will not go beyond the floor of the Senate and the courts.
Okay.
That recall, I've never seen. Bob Marley said in one of his albums, he said you can fool some people sometime, but you cannot fool all the people all the time.
Right.
But Nigeria has happened to that senatorial district that all the people were fooled at the same time. How could a constituency vote 54,000 to bring a senator, but found it convenient to queue, sign, provide their addresses and telephone numbers to, within a day, to get signatures of about 250,000 people? Now you begin to wonder, is it that they decided not to vote for her en masse, and then when it is time for recall, and for a people to be sucked into poverty to the level of going out early in the morning to go and sign off their sovereignty without asking questions? They didn't see the palliative in the first place. They went to sign.
I want to hold your thoughts on that. Now, don't you think that that's the reason why the senator is petitioning the IG for not properly investigating how those signatures were gotten? Because there are videos circulating everywhere. There were some of the videos that, of course, the kingsmen of Natasha were saying, you tricked us into doing this. We did not even know that this is what we want to do. Don't you think a proper investigation, which was not carried out by the police, is the reason why Natasha is petitioning the IG?
Listen, why would the police come in? The job of the police is to maintain law and order. There was no breach of the law on that day. So what would the police be doing? It's same here that we sit down and say, what is the function of the police in a peaceful recall election? Election in quotes. So what would the police be doing on that day?
In a peaceful,
when there was
in a peaceful recall process.
Yeah.
Or in a money-induced recall process.
Whatever it is.
So money-induced is money inducement isn't a crime.
In all the videos you saw,
yeah,
was there any fight?
So,
Mr. Peter, you're itching to say something.
Police need to be proactive.
Right.
Proactive.
This thing can lead to breakdown of law and order.
Peter, so the point is,
she has every right to petition the IG and the CP.
Why is she petitioning the IG when the deed has been done?
Which did?
Was there no recall process?
It is not perfected already, because if some of the people that had gone out to sign and were a part of this process are saying that we didn't even know what we found out, we got ourselves into. There's a possibility of having riots, and of course, it can break down the order in the state.
Let me tell you this. Let us remove sentiment, public sympathy or anything. Let's look at this thing dispassionately. If people came out and we saw the videos,
right,
not just one, not just two, and they were induced, are they not culpable at that level that they were induced to even vote?
Isn't that another reason? Isn't that another reason why the senator is practically calling
somebody jokingly said something. He said, if two consenting adults decide to have relationship, it doesn't concern him. But he's only worried and concerned if there is a report that one person is trying to intimidate or harass or do anything to the other, maybe because of the position he holds or she holds. Now, what I'm saying in all of this is, does it mean that the whole of that Kogi Central, Natasha does not have at least 3-5 people that can alert her that they are going to the polls tomorrow?
I think there was a communication gap, and coupled with the fact that she was busy with a lot of engagements outside her constituency.
Let's have your view.
I have taken time to read the process of recall.
Yes.
It is practically impossible, because those people will have to come again and authenticate that they really signed this.
250 people, 250,000 people.
They will
have to come.
They will come back. I have read it over and over. Right. Go and
I have read it.
So
they will come back and
even the inconsistency of INEC is enough for anybody to question the process.
I signed this.
Political coercion cannot be taken out of the equation.
Yes.
Anything could have happened.
Let me tell you. Get my drift. My drift is not to say that this woman should be brought down. What we are trying to do here is to extract this thing dispassionately, so that another person will not run into this kind of problem tomorrow. For me,
but there is no possibility.
This thing was
there is no possibility. That another person will not get it.
Look, there was a time a House of Rep member was removed, not through recall, but through legislation.
Yeah.
That they had to go back and amend. That's why it is difficult to say, because there's a section in the electoral law that says for you to decamp from one party to another party, there must be crisis in your party. But that time there was nothing like that. That was why they recalled Abegunde from Ondo State then, and it was sacked from the rep. What I'm saying here is that you don't wait until an armed robber comes to your house attack you and flee, and then you begin to shout, please say, come and help me.
Then that is why
what would you have her do?
petition the
It is late.
It's not late.
It's
not.
late.
It's
is
not.
not
It's
late.
not
We
late.
definitely will be looking at
It
this.
is not
Okay,
late.
let's watch
We'll
and
be,
see.
we'll be
It's
looking
not
at
late.
this conversation as it progresses, because the Natasha Gate, like everybody want to call it, is not ending anytime soon. Let's get to the main conversation this beautiful morning. Senate President Dr. Godswill Akpabio says President Bola Tinubu's second term is inevitable. These and more is what we'll be talking about when we return after this quick break. Do stay with us. It's Ramadan. It's the season of sharing and caring. As Muslim faithfuls all over the world pray and fast, may peace reign all over, especially in troubled regions. Allah's blessing to us all. May the supplication of every sincere heart be heard. Ramadan Kareem, from all of us at Voice of the People Television. Glad to have you back. Well, the conversation was still going on even after that break. And I can tell you for a fact that that is why we are here this beautiful morning to serve you the best way we can. And of course, the morning buzz right here in Voice of the People Television. Let's get to the main conversation. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has expressed confidence in President Bola Tinubu's re-election in 2027 despite opposition challenges. He made this statement during a special iftar dinner hosted by the Progressive Governors Forum in Abuja, which aimed to foster unity among key political figures, including governors and National Assembly members. At the end of the event, APC leaders also initiated political campaigns for the upcoming election. Interesting. Also, the coalition of Southern Kaduna Youth Group have pledged to mobilize votes for President Bola Tinubu and, of course, Governor Uba Sani and Senator Sunday Katung in the 2027 general election. Coordinator of the coalition, Luke Dunia, made the pledge at a news conference on Friday in Abuja. Well, we still have with us to make sense of these stories and more. With us in the studio is Mr. Peter Anosike, who is an economist and, yes, Voice of the People TV's political affairs analyst, and also Mr. Dele Fanimo, a seasoned reporter and, of course, Voice of the People TV's in-house political affairs analyst. And yes, we have virtually all the way from Benin, Dr. Bright, who is a medical director, Brikache Medical Resources. Once again, gentlemen, it's a pleasure having you in here.
My pleasure here.
All right, I'm going to start this conversation from Dr. Bright. The reason why I want to start is because I remembered during the newspaper review, I did not bring you in to have your voice in it. But let's move to this real conversation. Interestingly, Senate President is talking, and more like he has a crystal ball right in front of him. What's your take on the statement of the Senate President, who presently is confident that the President would be, of course, unopposed in 2027?
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Well, Tinubu's second term assured Akpabio, in as much as he's the Senate president, he can only be sure of his votes, which is the one vote that he has. This kind of concluding statement is not new to us coming from politicians, because you know they usually have this sense of optimism. Let me use that. I just believe that it's just been optimistic to say, okay, this is what it is, but he cannot. He is not the owner of all the votes. He does not have control over the vote. He's just airing his opinion. And of course, like every other Nigerian, he has the right to air his opinion. Tinubu's second term assured. Well, that's his opinion. So I can't. Difference in opinion is usually allowed in issues, so I can't fault him for that. So it's his opinion. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to come to the studio immediately. Mr. Peter Anosike, the yardstick for these statements, even though, yes, just like Dr. Bright said, it's his opinion. I mean, he has the right to his opinion. And of course, he did say that Mr. Akpabio has just one vote, which is his vote. Now, looking at his statement, what do you think, from your perspective, might be his yardstick for making these kind of statements?
I want to indict myself with what my friend in Benin said. I consider Joshua in the Bible a very wise man, because he said, I and my household will serve the Lord. He didn't say Israel, because he can only, he has authority over his household. He didn't say Israel will serve. He said, I am my household. So Akpabio should say Akpabio family will vote Tinubu. Understand me? To me, government, it should be an appraisal of one's stewardship. That will determine whether you will pass or fail. Understand me? It's not a gift. So if Tinubu merits if Tinubu is appraised and people find out that he has done well, they will support him in 2027. But for me, government is about the quality of life of the people. What is the quality of life of Nigerians today? Are we better off in 2025 than in 2024? This is what will determine what happened. But Akpabio said what he's supposed to say. He shouldn't have said anything otherwise, because if he said anything otherwise, Onukoyade would invite him on Monday.
Really?
Monday is public holiday.
Okay, on Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
This assumption now is quite interesting. You said, look at that's the EFCC chair. You think he has something that might want to make him get invited?
That's why he will continue to be a good boy until he finishes.
Now, you said something very interesting, which I'm also going to still come back to, but I'm going to come to Mr. Fanimo. Governance is by appraisal. And
that is supposed to be an appraisal.
It's supposed to be an appraisal. Now, if the appraisal by the people and the body language of the people is that beautiful, do you think that Mr. President is going to have a sweet run in 2027?
On paper, and going by what is going on today in Nigeria, the president would have to really fight for his shirt in 2027. But unfortunately, an example just came up that we are debating here today. If 250,000 people can go and line up to thumbprint for what they don't know and they were induced, how much inducement? 5,000. So that technically tells you that whatever is going to happen in 2027 is not a function of what is on ground, but who has the war's chest to deploy. And that is the unfortunate reality we have found in this country. And it's not likely to change in 2027. So I recall that when the last election in Ekiti, where Segun Oni, Oyebanji and the others were contesting, up until I was there live covering the election as an observer. Okay. That should be about, I think, about 2 years or so, 2 or 3 years ago. Up until the eve, the morning I arrived, Friday morning, because I was expecting there was likely to be a lockdown. Fortunately, Ekiti State is my mother's state, and I happen to be a cousin to Segun Oni. Do you know that up until 24 hours to that election, the general pulse of Ekiti people was that Oyebanji was going nowhere. That it was Segun Oni because of his records while he was governor of Ekiti State. That was why Fayemi in opposition couldn't find anything incriminating against Segun Oni when the court ruled that he should vacate the government house. As a matter of fact, the security vote of Segun Oni came 24 hours to when that judgment came. Segun Oni compelled his accountant to return it to the treasury. Okay. But lo and behold, within 7 hours to the poll, when money started moving, everything changed. Young ladies and boys were brandishing their 10,000 like this. At least we have seen something. And they were voting against somebody they said did very well for them in that state in less than 5 years of his leaving the office. So if we continue to debate here and begin to look at the ideal, we may not get the result we expect. All right. The only way we can get the expected result is for political parties in opposition to begin to do advocacy and showcasing why this government should not return. But if we just remain at the realm of bring back at the top and we are seated here, I tell you, that word by what's this Kenyan author, that the beautiful ones are yet unborn. Nkogi Wato. So we will end up and we will continue to say this is the way it should go, but this is the way it has gone, and we'll begin to sulk. We know how to sulk very well in Nigeria. Interesting. We want to come back to Dr. Bright, and you did make mention that Dr. Godswill Akpabio should be talking about his own vote. Is he a doctor now? Oh well, honorary doctor is given to these people. You don't use the word doctor as prefix for honorary award. Okay. Doctor is earned. Let's. They're giving it to him, so you cannot take it off.
Fabio had a thought. That's enough.
Even if he had first class, if he has not read PhD or a medical doctor, that person should not be attached to his name. I like the way this conversation is going.
And I like the fact that we are going to Dr. Bright.
Now, the doctor is a medical doctor.
You are the only doctor we can legitimately call a doctor from this table. Mr. Godswill Akpabio made this statement, and quite a number of persons have been reacting to it. And one of these kind of reaction is the president, since his introduction into office, May 29th, 2023, his first statement, which of course is part of the policies that this government has really used to deal with Nigeria, is the subsidy removal. As it stands, it has affected every aspect of the economy. And a lot of persons have been saying, with the way that the country is presently economically, some pride in the fact that this administration took the bold step by taking off subsidy. But the gains of subsidy, quite a number of Nigerians are still not enjoying it. From your perspective, as a doctor, do you also believe that the policies of this government is possibly going to yield something in the near days? Like they've always been telling us, people in this government, relax, things are going to get better, endure, we'll feel your pain, and all of that. What do you think this would happen at the end?
Well, for those who actually follow my analysis, I would say that the policy of this current administration has not actually helped Nigerians. The reason is, I always say this, the person of Tinubu, Madam President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is not somebody that we are supposed to be patient with. He's not somebody that we are supposed to say, let us give him some time. This is somebody who has been in the forefront of criticizing all governments, right from the military era. Yes, we gave him kudos for that. Now he's on that seat. Some days ago, I said something that we are not against him as a person. Whatever thing we are saying has to do with or is related to those who are on that seat. So if you have policies you want to implement, you have the policies that are long term, you have the policies that are short term. And in all of this, I have not seen any. On May 29th, 2023, subsidy is gone, turned the country. I don't want to say upside down, but it turned the country. And since that day up to this moment, we have not recovered. So if we are saying there are policies, the policies should reflect on the common man. We should begin to feel it. You know, as this country is, yes, some people will say fuel should not be everything, we should diversify, whatever. But for now, the price of fuel affects a whole lot of things. What is being done about it? You can't buy fuel at an exorbitant rate and you allow some other things to work. What about the enabling environment? Many people are losing their job on a daily basis. Businesses are collapsing. I'm not even talking of these big businesses. I'm talking of small and micro economic, small and medium scale businesses. They are collapsing. People can hardly feed. Even those who are supposed to support them don't even have. So if we want to see these policies are working, which parts of the population is the policy working for?
Okay, thank you.
Is it the high and mighty or those in the masses? So I really don't want to, because as I am, I still need people to come and like tell me this is the policy, this is what and what. But ordinarily, a policy that is working, you should feel the impact without anybody telling you.
All right, thank you very much for that response. You talked about the fact that Nigerians are not enjoying the dividend of democracy, and of course back to the studio here where it's been said that in 2027 Akpabio has just one vote. But I want us to look at the relationship between civilians, citizens genuinely wanting a candidate and how far money can go when it comes to election. Is it that we don't learn enough? Because it will be funny to say that everybody is saying that, oh, it's not going to go the usual way. We have seen a coalition between other political parties, but it doesn't seem like a serious conversation is happening, because at the end of the day, it looks like there's a way this politics is being played, and the masses, the vulnerable masses, will still be used to achieve their purpose. So let me come to you, Mr. Peter Anosike. What exactly do you think is the root cause of this constant need to accept peanuts from politicians just at the polls?
Okay, I want to start with what Akpabio said. A German philosopher by name Jerry Bentham said that the purpose of government is the happiness of the greater good of the people in a country. That the purpose of government is the happiness of the greater good
of the people
in a country. So government is not for the few, but for the majority. How happy are the majority? That's how we know whether government is doing well or not doing well. Okay. The issue is this: when people are so much impoverished, this even read the standing. He said, read the standing, read the Machiavelli, that's Prince.
Okay.
When people are so made wretched, to the extent if you give them simple fruits, they'll be happy. Understand me?
Right.
So as Mr. Fanem was saying that some youth we are showing, at least we have seen this one. Because there's no, they are simply existing. Hunger affects one's mentality.
In other words,
understand me?
In other words, they've weaponized poverty.
Poverty.
I really want to pick on that poverty thing because, I mean, we're supposed to get to a point where we really get tired of this poverty and say that if I perish, like Esther said in the Bible. Because if people are actually poor and they get to cry at the end of every 4 years, or while the 4 years is on, they get to cry, why then can't the people stand for something and say that at this time we are doing things differently? So would you say that the political class are a reflection of an average Nigerian?
No, they have studied us. They know our makeup. They know that we can easily move on. We forget a lot. We have short memories. So they can starve you for 1, 2, 3 years. At the 4th year, give you peanuts. You forget what you have gone through in the last 1, 2, 3 years. And that's what they are doing, and they are winning every 4 years.
Interesting. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I actually wanted to say something because, you know, that statement was said at that iftar event yesterday. And I want us to look at the part that this governors plays in all of these things. Governors were seated there. We have members of the House of Representatives and, of course, the Senate. And you hear people say things like, who is representing you? What voice is speaking for you? In as much as you would say that, oh, Akpabio has just one voice for himself and his household, you might not be too sure because his household might be Nigeria. His household might actually be his constituency. His household might be the senatorial district it covers. So what can the citizens on their part do differently? Let me come to you, Mr. Dele, because you just cited a very good example of how people were flashing 10,000 naira. For me, it's beyond them being hungry at that time. Is it a mindset that needs to be changed that when it comes to election, we are going out for this person, we have the manifesto that we have seen or heard, and that is what we want to work with, or we just want to get what we can get at this time?
You see, I watched a documentary few years back, and a reporter from BBC asked a young boy, I think he should be about 3-4 years old, on the street in Afghanistan, okay, and said, when you grow up, what would you like to become? He said, terrorist. But to us here, it was an aberration. But there, that's the thriving business.
No, it's still an aberration because it's not.
I said to us, but that guy was born into terrorism and he grew up into terrorism. You see, in our climb here, we love easy life. And when the people would want easy life, they live by the day and they are visionless. You don't want to. I was talking with somebody yesterday. I said, let's break down that 10,000 naira. 10,000 divided by 4, 2,500. So for 1 year, you are worth 2,500. Now break the 2,500 down to 12 months. You are worth about maybe 600 naira, 400 naira per month. You are worth about 400 naira per month. Now break 400 naira to 4 weeks in a month. In 1 week, you are worth 100 naira. Further break down the 1 week.
Okay, that's a terrible figure.
Exactly.
So somebody who gave to give you 10,000 in exchange for your life in 4 years.
Right.
If you are thinking at that moment, there is tendency for you to say no. But because you are thinking of the immediate, this is where I've always said one thing: greed and wisdom, they don't cohabit. Okay. The moment you are greedy, you are narrow-minded. You can never be wise.
All right.
So until we begin to, at micro level, until we begin to talk to ourselves, and letting us know the implication of every action and inaction that we do, that is when this country will start moving. And unfortunately, parents are not transferring the values they met from their parents.
Oh well,
and then and a country without value is a rudderless country.
All right. Now, one interesting part of this conversation, and I'm going to come to you, Mr. Peter Anosike, is the fact that a coalition of Southern Kaduna youths were also vocal about gathering numbers for the president come 2027. The Senate president has said, come 2027, Mr. President is going to have an easy coast ride into his second term. This is 2025. In less than how many months we'll be getting to 2026, which means campaigning will kick off almost immediately.
No, from June.
Okay. That's an official statement.
Former flag off.
From June.
Because campaign has started already.
Now, how and when is this administration supposed to give to Nigerians in the minutest of maybe dividends of democracy that they promised? Because before the president came into power, there was a lot of campaign promises. We'll make life easy. I mean, let's not go about it. But then, when can this government, should this government as well, be talking about 2027 now at this time?
For me, one of the problems with Nigerians is that so many, number one, when you push a Nigerian to the wall, he doesn't bounce back. He would rather push that wall down and continue as if nothing happened. That's one of the, number two, that we have very short memories. We forget a lot. Understand me?
Right.
That's number two. Number three, we love life a lot. We don't want to die. Understand me? We don't want to die.
Okay.
If you take what happened in Kenya, what happened in Sri Lanka and other countries, understand me?
In South Korea.
And when Jeremy Johnson, the guy that killed Samuel Doe,
Yes.
I interviewed him around 1998 at Ibiza Hotel here. So he said that Nigerians are wonderful people. That something will happen in Nigeria, they will think that Nigeria will break. Under a week, everything will just keep on moving as if nothing happened. So that's the impression about Nigeria. How did the Arab Spring started? Because one man set himself on fire in Tunisia. If 100 people set themselves on fire in Nigeria, nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
People will drive past.
So the issue is this: Southern Kaduna youth see El-Rufai as a fundamentalist. Mind you, Obasani and his deputy are Muslims. But Southern Kaduna is a Christian community. So they were not being, they don't like El-Rufai. So they feel that this is an opportunity to pay El-Rufai back in his own coins.
Okay.
Then for the government in power, you know, this is a continuation of 2015. Tinubu say, I'm going to continue from where Buhari stopped. What was Adesina told us in 2016 that the suffering we are passing through now is like taking a bitter drug. Even though taking a drug, even though it will be bitter in the mouth, it will later heal the whole body.
Right.
That's what Adesina was telling us in 2016.
Right.
Up to today, they're still telling us have patience.
Interestingly, you did mention that Nigerians are quick to forgetting, but you are a Nigerian.
Exactly.
And you have not forgotten this.
Right.
So it means quite a number of Nigerians like you are still around that still remembers this
Because
thing.
I'm in pains.
Okay. Dr. Bright. Is it pains? Dr. Bright, let's have your concluding thoughts in 30 seconds while we wrap up this particular conversation.
So,
if you can't, please
let's
unmute yourself.
Yeah. Let's no one blame Nigerians. Talking about hunger, we are not hungry. We are not all hungry at the same time. and we're also not hungry at the same level. And don't forget that there is this false hope that is laced inside ethnic and religious sentiment that they begin to sell to Nigerians. Forget about it. We are very, very religious and culturally biased. So they usually come through that means. But what we must keep on doing is to educate them beyond their cultural and religious sentiment, for them to actually see that it is not the party, but it is people who are exhibiting some kind of behaviors that are the one keeping us where we are. And the moment they understand, we'll gradually begin to emancipate ourselves from this issue. Otherwise, we'll still remain where we are.
All right. Much, Dr. Bright. I'm going to come to you, Mr. Fanimo, in 30 seconds. Your concluding thoughts. Owing to the fact that Nigerians, just like Mr. Peter, is still in pain. And of course, this present administration is talking about 2027. I mean,
government helped Nigerians to lose track of history when they obliterated history from curriculum until when they brought it back in 2018. So, and as long as we continue to have that collective amnesia, they will always write roughshod on us and be giving us peanuts.
Collective amnesia. Mr. Peter, 30 seconds. Your concluding thoughts on this particular topic before we wrap up.
We need to be asking ourselves, how was our yesterday? Without yesterday, we cannot project tomorrow.
Interesting. All right.
We can't, without yesterday, we can't project tomorrow. I mean, it's a very terrible situation to be in when you can say that yesterday was better than today. But we really do hope for a better tomorrow. But in a very sad incident, in Edo State, 16 northern travelers incinerated by mob who labeled them kidnappers. This and more we'll be discussing after this break. Stay with us.
It's Ramadan, the season of sharing and caring. As Muslims, may peace reign all over, especially in troubled regions. Allah's blessing to us all. May the supplication of every sincere heart be heard. Ramadan Kareem, from all of us at Voice of the People Television.
Many thanks for staying with us this beautiful Saturday morning. You're still watching the Morning Buzz on Voice of the People Television, and we are here to start the weekend with you, ensuring that you have a very beautiful morning. At least 16 travelers from northern Nigeria were killed in Uromi, Edo State, after being mistaken for kidnappers while traveling from Port Harcourt to Kano for Salah celebrations. The incident occurred when local vigilantes and the Edo State Security Corps intercepted the group, leading to a mob attack foiled by false accusations. Security expert Zagazula Makama noted that the travelers' hunting guns were misinterpreted as a threat, prompting a brutal response from local youths. The mob not only attacked the travelers, but also set their truck on fire, resulting in multiple deaths. 4 survivors were rescued and treated at the local hospital, but authorities have arrested 5 suspects, and the Hausa community in Uromi held an emergency meeting to further prevent violence. The Edo State Police spokesperson stated that he was still gathering information about the incident as at the time this report was gathered. We still have in the studio to discuss this very troubling story. Mr. Peter Anosike, Voice of the People, in-house analyst, and of course, still in the building is Mr. Dele Fanimo. We have in our Benin studio, Dr. Bright. Let me come straight to you, Dr. Bright, because I should expect that you have, if not directly the first-hand information, but more details than us here. What can you say about this very sad incident. Reports have it that they were on their way from Port Harcourt to Kano State. So how did they get into this fix at that point in Uromi? And what is the situation right now?
Well, it's a very pathetic situation, because no matter how it is painted, not one way. Yes, we are in Edo, and the news actually came shockingly. We thought it was one of those social media posting of old stories, or started getting confirmation videos and so many other things. It's a clear demonstration of what jungle justice is. However, we also know that the factors that fuel jungle justice have become much more prevalent in those states in the recent past. First and foremost is when there is lack of trust in the, not talking about arrest of criminal and giving them the right dose of what the law prescribed for them. When it becomes absent, in a particular environment, the people will lack trust in that system, and some of them will want to take laws into their hand. And of course, poverty and so many other things are also there. But being that as it is, in this level of development that we have gotten up to, we shouldn't be having jungle justice, as the case may be. Worst case scenario would have been apprehending those people,
right,
and ensuring that the right thing is done. And if maybe the cry to say, oh, these persons are being the one terrorizing us, we have arrested them and the police are not doing anything, they are still in the custody, they raise alarm,
right,
it will make all eyes be on the police, and all eyes be on the justice
all right, thank you.
At that point in time. But going to take law the best. Jungle justice have known for long to take innocent lives. Stop it there.
All right, thank you for that response, even though I still want to know what the situation is like in Uromi right now. But let me come to the studio. Let me come to you, Mr. Peter Anosike. Talking about profiling, we've accused the police of profiling people wrongly. And according to reports, the people, the youths in the community are taught, I mean, it was basically wrong profiling because they had guns at the time. How do we balance these things? Those people were supposed to travel to their communities to celebrate Salah. Carrying guns at a time like that, of course, there's a lot of tension in the space. People are scared. There are history of attacks and all of that, but it's not enough to take anybody's life. But let's talk about profiling. How do we manage ourselves at this time?
One, for me, unauthorized people are not supposed to have arms, because if they were not caught with guns, maybe what happened would not have happened. But the issue is this: a lot of things have been done wrongly in this country. It is only the court that has the power of death. Even police don't have it. Then soldiers during war. So it is only the court that has power to say this person has been condemned to death. No other authority. Then the military during the war, because police are trained to shoot at the leg, soldiers are trained to shoot at the head. So this shows you that police are not supposed to kill.
Right.
But here in the country, they kill. I say we exchange of gunfire, we gun down 5 armed robbers. It is wrong. It is wrong.
Okay, you've said that they had to do what they did because of the guns if they were not carrying guns. But should there be any justification for jungle justice?
I say it's only court that has power to kill anybody. Only court. So, but the issue is this. I'm telling you, that's what my mind is telling me. If they were not carrying guns, it is gun that might have triggered up whatever happened. And police will have also done the same thing. Seen some civilians carrying gun. There's tension in the country.
Okay.
So anybody who's not qualified to be carrying gun and is carrying gun, she should be seen as a criminal.
Okay. Let me come to you, Mr. Delifanimo, because when things like this happen, in as much as it's been said that there are meetings that have happened, the northern community has they gathered and they're trying to ensure that there is peace in this space. We know that reprisal attacks cannot be taken out of the equation in situations like this. Recall in, I think, 1999, 2000, when they had the Yoruba Hausa community clash in Shagamu. It was a very, very terrible situation because I was there, and I remember it was just 1999 to 2000.
I will be a baby then.
I was in secondary school. I'm not as young as I look. Is evidence of good living, actually. So I remember that it was about having our traditional rites. We call it the Oro Festival. And it was reported that an Hausa lady was found outside. Something led to something and someone was gone. And there was, it felt like we said today, this is our land, this is our community, these things happen. But days after, it didn't even happen immediately. Days after, because it was after the war broke that people started recalling that there were a lot of sharpening of knives, there were some body languages that people did not read meanings to until that reprisal attack. So do you think that having just that conversation and coming to the media space to say that, oh, we've talked to the people, we are trying to ensure peace, everything is outside under control?
You see, if there's going to be a reprisal attack or not, will be a function of the level of mediation and proactive measures taken between now and when that could happen. Number one, I want to urge the media at this time to de-emphasize the issue of northerner, southerner in this, because it will escalate tension and it would not be right for us to continue to hype that. These are Nigerians and they should be considered and be treated as Nigerians. That's one. Two, I want to just say something about the possession of firearms. What they display there are not assault rifles. They are dingons. And anybody is entitled, you can see, they are dingons. And anybody is entitled to carry, you don't need a license, other than those days when local government were empowered for you to just get a paper to cover you up for that.
But this was just biased because the people who did what they did couldn't have used things like this. Whether or not you could have used it.
You see, what I'm saying is that if they actually were hunters,
yes,
hunters don't use AK-47.
Sure.
Hunters don't even use pump action. Because the highest you could use as a hunter is a double barrel gun with pellets laced with lead. So maybe those who accosted them, maybe they didn't understand to the level that I'm explaining now.
Okay.
If they had been caught with laying guns, then they are hunters. But if they were caught with AK-47 or pump action, then they are no longer hunters.
Okay.
So they could be profiled as either a terrorist, or kidnapper, or bandit.
Threats to the society.
You understand?
Yeah.
Now,
And remember language barrier.
you see, what the point is, we are not there. We didn't know exactly what happened. But from the report and what was shown, we can just hazard guesses here and there.
Right.
But the deed has been done. Now, to ensure that there is no reprisal attack, I think the governor of Edo State should step in.
He was at the scene, actually.
Yes.
He's trying to.
Not just being at the scene, he should call an emergency security meeting in the state and ensure that people that are sympathetic to these people that were killed.
I reached out.
I reached out to. They talk to them, and then if there is need, if they are properly profiled, and there is a particular state that they came from, the governor of that, of Edo State, should reach out to that state governor. Because if there is going to be any reprisal attack, it's going to be coordinated outside Edo.
No, from Nasarawa. That's where they always
Okay, they were coming from Nasarawa.
No, they were going to Kano State. They were coming from Port Harcourt. Uromi is like a connecting part.
Yeah. So now, if they are going to Kano from Nasarawa,
from Port Harcourt,
from Port Harcourt,
not obviously based in
they are likely to be around Kano, because they were probably after their hunting expenditure. Maybe they wanted to go back to celebrate Salah.
Are you sure they are hunters?
I said they have just said it.
The reports actually said that they were hunters that were misprofiled.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
If you look at the guns that were displayed.
No, the Benin guy is talking.
Go ahead.
If we look at the guns that were displayed, because initially the news going around that they found AK-47 in the lorry or in the truck, but looking at the pictures that were displayed so far, we didn't see any picture of AK-47. These ones, they fall more into hunters' weapons that they use. And let us not also forget that there were dogs inside that truck too, and we know that they also use dogs for hunting. So the true information of what played out should be there, because like I said before, no matter how you look at it, when justice come, innocent ones would come, because you just come like a rumor, and before people start reacting, considering what they have been passing through in that community. I just feel I should chip that in. There were elements that shows that they were hunters. The guns could tell that. The dogs they were having could also state that. Thank you.
So obviously, from what we have seen with the pictures and everything, they are actually hunters. But the thing is, reprisal attacks take more lives than the deed, because it's going to be like a shock. They don't come announced, but they come unannounced. And so I want to appeal to Edo State Governor to reach out to Kano State, where probably they came from, and begin to engage them. The Hausa community in Edo State should be engaged in all of this, so that we can reduce tension. Not just one person, 16 people in war, in one attack.
16 Nigerians.
16 Nigerians.
Now, I want to talk about security when it comes to the state level. Vigilantes, whatever name you want to call them. You would recall we've had this conversation about how Amotekun was formed in Ondo State. That, of course, very laudable by the late former governor of Ondo State, Governor Mimiko.
No,
Akeredolu, I beg your pardon. I beg your Akeredolu. Now, let's look at the fact that these vigilantes, at this point, whether or not they are working with the government, how much of their importance and training did they get before knowing who is who when it comes to terrorists and all of that, profiling, proper profiling? How much education did they get? There was something I was just going through, and this was brought out by Budget. I don't know if our producers are ready. Let's have it on the screen. The Nigerian 2025 security and defense budget for the year, how it was, detailed. The defense has 3.10 trillion naira. Police affairs has 1.31 trillion naira. If our producers are ready, let's have that on the screen. Interior, that's the immigration and of course official, and the CDC had 1.11 trillion naira. National Security Advisor has 690.80 billion naira. Service-wide votes, 638.34 billion, and the Police Service Commission has 2.56 billion. Now, in all of this, the state security vote is also there. How much of importance is each state having on security and education for their vigilantes? Because practically every state has this. How can we do it better from here on? That's my question.
If the conventional police is not getting it right in terms of training, even right from recruitment, how much of profiling do you do at the point of recruitment?
When you talk about recruitment, I did recall the one that caused that major chaos.
You see, I always tell people that the worst thing you can do to yourself in this country today is to have any brush with an inspector or sergeant in the police force today. Because those are the people that were recruited by Obasanjo when he recruited 40,000 recruits for the police. At that time, you just see an area boy, a thug, a known armed robber in your community disappear for 6 months. The next day he's coming with a uniform. And these are the people that are promoted to inspectors today. So it is very dangerous to want to contend with them on the road. Now, when you want to even bring up vigilante, you are supposed to involve the traditional ruler of that community, who knows the chiefs, who know these people.
Okay.
Not just saying because somebody looks deviant, is ready to attack at any point. You have to look at anger management. How much of emotional intelligence that person has. Then what is his psychological state psychological state. And then you need to look at, is he a bipolar patient? Does he know when to strike and when to retreat? That's the starting point. Then when you now recruit, there should be formal training that would, one, make him realize his rules of engagement at any point in time. If there was proper training, I am sure that those guys will not act the way they acted yesterday.
Interesting. Mr. Peter, same question. How can we get it right from here on, knowing for a fact that, just like he mentioned, there's not been proper training even from the police itself? How can we get it right?
The issue is this. Do they know their mandate? That's the most important thing. Do they know their mandate? Do they know what their function is? That you have no power to kill. That whoever you apprehend, you go and hand over to the police.
Exactly.
Understand me? So do they know that? So there should be enlightenment. Just like this, people don't even know on the role of these private securities.
Right.
They think that their job is to open gates, park here. No, their job is job of receptionist, because they are your first point of contact. If you are coming into a building,
right,
so you must be civil in receiving people. If a security man at the gate is hostile, you may turn back from there and go. So their main job is reception, and a receptionist must have one, humility, understanding. Your job is not just to be beating people, killing people. You must have that at least ask questions.
Right.
Where are you coming? Where are you going?
We've also seen police brutality even in recent times. Not talking just the vigilantes.
It's frustration.
Frustration. Which
Nigeria police are frustrated.
Which frustrating the Nigerian police? I believe that upon engagement, you know what you are getting into. But I want to come to Dr. Bright again. I mean, good justice is something that gets to happen over and over again, and we get to condemn it just like we are doing today. We've talked about the local vigilantes and the security agencies being trained on profiling and all. But on the part of the citizens, how much conversations, or where do we stop having this conversation on how to relate with one another and understand the importance and value that comes with the lives of the people? Because all of this is a function of being angry. So how do we manage people from a medical perspective?
Well, like we always say that you need to first of all hear the person, see the person, then you could actually be able to make a diagnosis of whatever you need to make up. You see, when humans have resentment, recently we've been hammering so much on mental health,
Exactly.
and one major challenge we have seen around is anxiety. And anxiety creates that sense of uncertainty. So many Nigerians are so anxious. Uh, think some persons were making mockery of Oshomole some weeks back when we were talking about the issue of insecurity in Edo State.
Okay.
Videos have been flying of people being insecure, attacked, kidnapped at will,
Right.
and they've been crying to say this is a challenge. This is a challenge. I know that the opposition in Edo have also taken it to another dimension, which I was not actually comfortable with. But the truth of the matter is, people are actually being kidnapped, and these people have a sense of saying those who are responsible to take action are not taking the right action. So it creates a high level of anxiety. Some
Exactly.
time ago, there was a vigilante leader who was taking lead of the people into the forest to search for some of these bandits and kidnappers in the forest. After some days, his dead body was the next thing that came up on video. We saw a video of where a community was ransacked, burnt, and people were killed. And these things will create a high level of anxiety. And
I understand
when
the place of anxiety, Dr. Bright, but in one word, how do we help the people? Because someone that is not mentally stable will naturally react in that situation.
Yeah.
So how do we get the people to be in a good state of mind? That's just in 1 minute.
identify what the person is anxious about and try to clear it. Many times, anxiety arises from doubt, little or no information about something. It creates anxiety. So, what you do at that point, identify what that person is anxious about and do the best you can to address it.
All right.
And remove every iota of that so the person can have an understanding.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me come to you, Mr. Nosike. In one word, your final take on this issue.
Jungle justice is for animals, not for human beings. So it is only we should have it at the back of our mind. No matter what we are doing, we have no power to kill anybody.
Sure, it shouldn't even come to your mind at all.
No.
Let me get your final thought on this.
I think there must be conscious effort to douse tension in Edo as we speak, because a reprisal could be more than what actually happened.
Right. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, this is where we have to draw the close on the topics that we have this beautiful morning. But we will be taking a short break and we'll be going on a very, very simple ride on trends. And trends, of course, you know how it is. We'll definitely be checking our eyes and nose and mouth and everything on this one. But before then, we know that with us, like I said earlier, you have more than a voice. And of course, some comments have come on our YouTube portal. We'd like to have those comments right now. Let's know what you are saying. If my producers are ready with those comments, let's have them right now. All right, there you have it. Ifeanyi Kwodu did say, considering the insecurities in Nigeria, how do the hunters know the terrain of the area and bushes? Have they been hunting in that area before? Huge question, I must say. But interestingly, well, that's just what we talked about, learning and knowing what and when to go about what you're doing. It's very, very important in all of this. We're going to a very short break. When we return, we'll be going straight to trends. Stay tuned. It's Ramadan. It's the season of sharing and caring. As Muslim faithfuls all over the world pray and fast, may peace reign all over, especially in troubled regions. Allah's blessing to us all. May the supplication of every sincere heart be heard. Ramadan Kareem, from all of us at Voice of the People Television.
From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries. Voice of the People, 90.3 FM.
Glad to have you back on the Morning Buzz right here on Voice of the People TV. Now let's go straight to trends this morning. Interestingly, veteran Nollywood actor Patrick Doyle has claimed that the real estate sector in Nigeria has become a front for money laundering and financial crimes. In a recent interview on Echo Room, he pointed out the prevalence of completed but uninhabited houses in Abuja and the Lekki corridor, questioning why construction continues despite high prices and shortage of housing. Patrick Doyle emphasized that the real estate market is being used to launder illegal funds, resulting in a paradox where many properties remain empty while the population faces a housing crisis. Well, I would have loved to run on this, but because we still have our guests in the studio, Mr. Peter, maybe just your reaction in less than 1 minute on all of this.
Well, it is a fact. It's a fact. A lot of people are being duped. A lot of people are being duped using these things, which is not good. Even apart from real estate, foundations are also used for money laundering. One foundation is supposed to be something good. So people are meant that to pay money. At the end of the day, you will not even see what you are paying for. Understand me? Okay. In estates, more than 20 people are paying for the same property. And these owners are well connected with the security agencies. So there's hardly an adult who don't have one negative story that to tell about these people in this business.
Interesting. Mr. Vanu, one sentence.
For me,
Money laundering with the real estate business.
it's very difficult to take out money out of this country. That's why you see people having uninhabited buildings, estates in Abuja that up till now, nobody can even trace the owner. So it is a fact that money laundering is real today in Nigeria, and it's not going to stop in a jiffy, because it's becoming too difficult for them to repatriate, except those who have connections in the Asian countries where they still allow slush money to be deposited in their accounts. But in the Western world now, if you take any money right from Nigeria before you wire it, already there's a red flag.
Interesting.
So they rather, that's why you see them building hotel in some places where people cannot even access.
And those hotels are not their main business.
They are not their main business. You know, drug money, when they want to, they can't bring drug money back from abroad. They would rather, that's why you see this buy two, get one. It's not the profit that is target.
No.
Just to make sure that the money comes back to Nigeria.
Money is rotating.
Whatever means. So what is supposed to be sold at maybe 50,000 naira, they will tell you buy two for 100,000 and get one free. Just to lure you, to just make sure that you give them back their money.
In other words, Patrick Doyle seems to have a major...
He has a clear understanding of the way it works.
Interesting. Dr. Bright, let's have your take on this in less than 1 minute while we wrap up this conversation.
Well, it's a clear fact that when you look at some of the monies that they are using for this, is like money laundering is trying to disguise the money so that illegal money now appears to become legal. And of course, real estate have been pointed as one of the means through which they do this. So they just build a whole lot of building, and over time, the money that they launder start coming back to them, and they just want to see it as a legitimate thing. They can even make it at ridiculous prices, but at least without turnover, the money comes back to them. So it's something that the government should actually look into and work on it. It's something that's also very
Interesting.
rampant in Edo State, Benin City, as we speak. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so very much, Dr. Bright, for being here. This is about where we have to wrap up the conversation this beautiful morning. And we have, we've, of course, had with us Dr. Bright Onyovo Kuko, Medical Director, Brickage Medical Resources, right there virtually, all the way from Benin, Edo State precisely. And of course, we had in the studio with us Mr. Daily Fanimo, a seasoned reporter, and of course, VOP TV's in-house analyst, and Mr. Peter Anosike, who is an economist, and of course, VOP TV's in-house analyst. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for being on the Morning Boss this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, on behalf of myself, this is where we have to draw the curtain. Thank you so very much for being here. I remain David Edwin, and I'm saying always, don't forget to always pray for Nigeria. There is no great nation like ours. Until we'll come your way, same time again next week, Saturday. I'm not, of course, going to let out the fact that you would know who will be hosting that show coming next week, Saturday. Until then, have an amazing week ahead. God bless Nigeria.
And I am at Defunke Jaisimi. On my part, I will just tell you to ensure that you have a beautiful weekend. Nigeria is too busy. Just go out, have fun, and ensure that you have a relaxed weekend so you can be productive for the coming week. Have a great day.